Well, good morning, everybody. I hope we're all doing fine. We're having a good weekend. Make some good plans and do something fun. Today we're going to look at Mr. Eric Dubay once again. He's off making these wild claims about meteors, meteorites, comets, and it's kind of curious to hear him talk about it, because most flat earthers don't believe there's any such thing as space, and that the moon is fake. And so let's just look for a second. So he's going to show you a picture of the meteor crater in Arizona, which I think is called the Beringer crater. The Beringers are the people that own the property that the meteor's on. So that's what that is. He says this is a crater. You can see the crater. However, it's not really a crater. It just looks like a crater. It's probably from a bottle of gas, or like a ball of air or gas that came up from below and made that sort of a crater looking thing. However, let me just give you a little statistics here. The crater is about 1,300 meters in diameter. It's 170 meters deep, and the rock that it hit, the rock around the crater, is sandstone. So you can think about sandstone if you have any ideas about that. Here is part one that I have from Mr. Dubay. Give it a look here.
These craters are what look to be like craters. What are they then?
So there's things that they call craters, which are holes in the earth like a bowl shape, and then there's little edges kind of up above the rest of the earth around them there. So in one way, it looks like it could have been caused based on an impact from above. Though another way it could be is, say, like a gas bubble from below.
Okay, so in this next part here, he says, if this was a meteor that came down from space, where is the debris? Where are the rocks? Shouldn't there be something left? You have to realize, even though the rock was pretty big, the meteorite or meteor was pretty big, it came, it was traveling at 71,000 kilometers per hour. So you imagine hitting the earth at that velocity. Try to imagine how much would be left. And what scientists have found is that there's a debris field that stretches about 6 miles around the crater. These are debris where you'll find pieces of meteorite. And I know Mr. Dubay will have some excuse for what those are. They may look like something, and he's just, they just look like they're a meteorite. And the last thing is that there was mining at the meteor crater around 1900. There were some miners that had heard there was very high high-grade iron ore there. They went there, they dug a hole about 1,400 feet deep, and they found nothing underground. So there was no underground, cavern or something that blew gas up, through the surface or whatever. So that's what I think of that. Let's see part 3.
If it was from, say, a burning rock from outer space, there should be huge, the rock itself should still be there if it caused that big of a depression, and there should also be huge chunks of it everywhere. Yet none of these supposed crater sites have anything of the sort. These, I think, are some sort of military thing that they're shooting to make us believe that meteorites exist, because they're always coming down at an angle like they've been shot from a plane. If meteorites existed and we were on a spinning ball Earth, then meteors should be shooting in every single direction possible, not always from the exact same direction coming down onto the Earth.
Now he's going to talk about these puck marks that are left on the moon, that we can look up there, with our eyes and see these puck marks, but there's no way that they can be craters. They're just dark spots or puck marks on the moon. I have a picture here you should be seeing, and compare that to the meteor crater we saw before on the Earth. So we have one on the Earth, one on the moon. Compare those and tell me what you think there, okay? I think it's kind of obvious that, something happened that was similar. These two events had to have been pretty similar in order for the craters to be left that are pretty similar. Okay?
With our own eyes or with a telescope, there are potch marks of some kind there, but it's a foregone conclusion to say that they are craters formed during meteorite collisions. I mean, this is just an explanation that you've come up with. It's a possible explanation, but there's no physical evidence for that.
In this next part, it's funny because he talks about an explosion in this city in Russia. There was an explosion, but if it's a rock coming from outer space, would there be big chunks of rock left? And yet he just got through saying it was an explosion. So, I'm sure there were meteorites around the area, but for the most part, it was vaporized before it hit the ground. The explosion occurred before it hit the ground. So I have a video that I want you to look at about this explosion. I was going to include it here, but it's like 15 minutes long. So I saved that, and I'll put a link in the description for you. But take it as your homework and go look at it before next week. And I think you'll find interesting information.
None of us have ever seen a rock come from space and collide with the Earth, make a huge explosion, and then show us the rock sitting there so that we can verify that, yep, that was a big-ass rock that just came from outer space. It doesn't exist. We don't actually have that physical evidence to prove that such a thing exists.
So he's saying, why do comets come back regularly? Because the Earth is rotating, this rotating, spinning, revolving, gyrating through space. How would these comets catch up? And it's just amazing to me the things that they think up. Some guy thought this up, and it just kind of spreads through their community, if you want to call it that. Of course, none of it's science. None of it is shown. They don't have any explanation. You've heard Eric Dubay say many times, I think it's this way, it could be that, but, there are other explanations. So that's their rhetoric that they keep building up. And so that's all I have today, and I hope you enjoyed this, getting to look at some real out in the world kind of things. This next week I'm thinking about doing something on Kyle Adams again. He's got another video out about that same old geology book. It seems that's the only thing he knows how to make videos on. But I want to look at it and I'll see if it's anything interesting or not. But until then, we'll see you.